How many of you have realized that just beneath the table you're sitting on, there's a note of $10? Anyone has realized that? I know you're going to change it, though. One of the breaking news I got this morning was about this young guy who had just blew his head because after trials of trying to convince his girlfriend, he couldn't make it, so he killed himself. By the way, that's a made-up story, it's not true though. Okay, all in all, I'm trying to say is suicide doesn't begin with the pulling of a trigger. It begins the moment we decide to quit. I remember myself one Thursday morning sitting down in the park, contemplating quitting my job. It was my first day at work, and my boss had just told me to make 30 sales by the next day, otherwise my job was on the line. Perhaps I should bring you together with me to my humble beginnings in the remote village of Lesotho as a head boy. I had no selling experience. I was used to being in the fields looking after animals. So it was kind of hard for me, or I didn't have experience to interact with people in business-wise. But now, I have to work as a hawker. At times, of course, I would go into town with my uncle to sell some ice creams, but I was interested in looking at the landscapes and looking at the buildings. I wasn't interested in sight to people. So I was kind of afraid of strangers. That is why each time I attempted a transaction, I bought cheating. And he used to call me stupid. That, man, you can't do anything. This built inside of me, it became my conviction. I began to understand that, okay, man, you can't do anything, you are just stupid. To a point where, when I reached my secondary school, I chose business. I chose woodwork over business studies because I felt like I can't do anything with business. Business was like something great, something that I can't even try to charge myself. So I actually grew up knowing that, okay, I can't do anything. But as you know, life will always test our convictions. It will always test things that we said, these ones we have chosen to be part of us. It so happened that after completing my high school, I had to find a way of funding for my SAT test. And I'm sure most of you here know about SATs, right? Yeah. I had to find a way of funding my SATs because my parents could no longer anymore afford me because they helped me all along high school. But now this was a university. And apart from that, as the first generation in my family, I had to do something in order to see myself at university. So I had to take an action to make a move in the midst of contradictory evidences about myself. So I found a job as a hawker. The only offer I could find was to work as a hawker at Delma Perfumes, selling perfumes in the street. Each morning I had to go carrying a bag to sell the perfumes in the street. I should mention that it wasn't easy in the street. It was like dog eat dog. At times I would see my friends coming back from school with their backpacks on. And then there I was with a cracked skin and dark from the exposure of the sun. Because sometimes I would go without lunch in order for me to meet my targets. But I understood one thing, that I have to do something. So, that morning, I took the bag. I can still see my picture as I went down the street with tears coming down my cheeks, persuading people to buy. It was hard as some people couldn't believe me. I could hardly shout. So it was even hard for me to convince the customers. As you know, I'm sure some of us here have once again had an experience of selling. So you need to be able to speak for your products. I couldn't be able to speak my products, but as time went on, I was able to build confidence inside of me. I was able to build that confidence for me to speak boldly. And tell you what, at the end of that first day, I was able to sell 40 bottles of beer. I then began to understand that I wasn't stupid all along with my anger. Actually, I know who I am. But just that I was timid to embrace new challenges. I was timid to make a move in the midst of contradictory evidences. I was timid of new environments. That is why I seem to be dreadful of strangers to back them with my anger. I understood that I got potential. All I had to take was to take courage and make a step to make sure that I change my future. Finally, I received my money for SATs and I was able to see for them. And with the experience that I got as a hawker, I was able to found a program called Destiny Trailers, which is aimed at empowering young people from my community. You find that most of them, they grow up in a place that is locked up with mediocrity, gangsterism, teenage pregnancy, and all this kind of track whatsoever that's happening. So most of them, they have no courage to go to school. So I think initially that, okay, let me begin something in order to motivate these young boys and girls to know their purpose, to understand why they were born. Because that's where everything emanates about themselves. So I took a stand, and I was able to found Destiny Trailers. And to be even more creative, with my experience as a hawker, we used to grow some beans and peas at home on a small garden. So I would take some packs each evening when I arrived from work, and I would ride on the horseback, going to nearby villages in order to sell for my family, because I understood that I also had to build up some income for them. So I would ride on the horseback in order for me to sell in the nearby villages. And from this, ladies and gentlemen, it's not about selling, but the interaction of people, getting to know them, the choices in business, the choices in selling. That's what I learned more about people. The invaluable experience I got from this as a hawker, ladies and gentlemen, made me to understand that I have to challenge myself. I want to take a step and challenge myself with new and explore new possibilities of life. I learned that courage is essential for anyone with a heart to oppose change in their community, in their lives. I learned that courage is the ability to press on in the midst of contradictory evidence. It's the ability to prop forward that surpasses the pressure to quit. Transformative leaders must have firm faith on their visions. You must have firm faith on your vision. You must embrace it. You must see it each time, each morning. That is why even in my room right now, I have pictures of where I want to be and what I want to become. Because pictures build up something inside of us. So I understood that transformative leaders must have faith on their visions. That surpasses the pressure to quit. They must believe in what they have and take a step forward each time against challenges. I understood that transformative leaders, as we are all leaders in this building, we must develop and nature the courage to stand for what we believe. Courage gives us ability not to compromise our belief, not to compromise that goodness that we see, that change that we see on the altar of compromise, not to sacrifice that belief, not to sacrifice that positive change that we want to see as leaders on the altar of compromises when challenges come. I was able, ladies and gentlemen, to be able to recognize that I had a potential to serve. But it doesn't only end there. I understand today that as a young man, together with like-minded peers as MCF scholars in this building, and the full support of MasterCard, I will, and I'm committed to. I understand that university will thrust fiercer challenges against me. But I am prepared with the skills, with the experiences that I have, that together with you in this building, together with all of us here as MCF scholars, we shall partake in the transformation of Africa. I thank you.